We have, our good friend Yuri Bezmenov, right? I mean, we're not good friends. I never met him, but in my world, we're good friends, okay? But we've played him many times on the show. For new listeners, I always have to remember, I have to remember to recap things. Oh, I have to recap something else. All right, I'll do that in a minute. But Yuri Bezmenov was in the KGB. He defected to the West. And he did a long sit-down interview. It's an hour and a half long. We play little excerpts from it all the time. But it's an hour and a half long, and it's well worth your time. One day, when the world-famous Jesse Kelly show is over and you're longing, what, Chris? And you're longing for more wisdom. In all seriousness, it is a fascinating listen. An hour and a half. I think it's on YouTube. I think the whole thing's still on YouTube. It is, Chris? Okay, the whole thing's on YouTube. But there's so many good tidbits in there. You remember we were talking earlier about the Human Rights Campaign, just another one of these shadow groups. I want you to listen to this. It's a little long, not terrible. I think it's a minute or so. I want you to listen to Yuri Bezmenov very, very closely. Remember, he's the one who told us the Soviets infiltrated here on purpose. He taught us what they did, how they did it. Listen.
The natural bodies of administration, which are traditionally either elected by people at large or appointed by elected leaders of society, are being actively substituted by artificial bodies. The bodies of people, groups of people, whom nobody elected. Never. As a matter of fact, most of the people don't like them at all, and yet they exist. One of such group is media. Who elected them? How come they have so much power, almost monopolistic power on your mind? They can rape your mind. But who elected them? How come they have a nerve to decide what is good and what is bad for the elected by you, president, and his administration?
I'm just glad we don't have a media like that in this country.
And it shows that no one is above the law, which is important, not even the president's son.
The fact that son of the president was investigated by the government and charged is actually evidence that no one is above the law in America. That's a good thing.
Obviously, you're already hearing a lot of shouting, oh, sweetheart deal, oh, this, oh, that.
This is not a sweetheart deal. It's a deal. I think it's a good deal for Hunter Biden in that he will stay out of prison and end up with only 2 misdemeanors on his record. But it's certainly not a sweetheart deal out of line with what happens in the rest of the country.
They focus on this and say, oh, my God, 2-tier standard of justice. He got a sweetheart deal. And you're like, guys, I mean, you just sound like morons.
And yet, if this wasn't Hunter Biden, it is likely he wouldn't have been prosecuted at all.
It indicates that the prosecutor's gone out of his way to charge everything that could have been charged.
Heads up, they're not the liberal media. We love to say that, right? The liberal media. I don't believe the liberal media. They're not liberal media. They're communist apparatchiks. The communists infected the media. More importantly, they infected the journalism school. Do you remember everything I wrote about it in the Anti-Communist Manifesto, which you can purchase at jessekellybook.com? Do you remember what I told you? They infiltrated specific fields on purpose. Fields like history, economics, psychiatry, journalism. The Soviets did it on purpose. Now Americans do it to other Americans. These communist professors don't even understand that they're really communists. But they train the next generation after the next generation after the next generation of communists. And now we have a bunch of communist apparatchiks in this country. That's the truth.
For too long, we've been led to believe that communism is a thing of the past. But the truth is, communism is alive. It's here, and it's infiltrating every aspect of American life. Introducing the Anti-Communist Manifesto by Jesse Kelly, the practical guide for patriots ready to defend our nation from its most dangerous enemy. Discover the shocking extent of communist infiltration in our education system, their alliance with American corporations, and the twisted truth behind environmentalism. This eye-opening book exposes the true face of communism and empowers you to fight back. Join the fight for freedom. Pre-order your copy of the Anti-Communist Manifesto today by going to jessekellybook.com.